Welcome, welcome, welcome to my card club members. So excited to have you guys here for our October walkthrough of the awesome cards that we are doing. Now, for those of you who don't know about my card club, I'm Brandi Barnard from BrandiStamps.com, and I offer a really fun monthly card club just called the BrandiStamps Card Club. And each month we choose a different stamp set to feature. This month it was the Snowy Wonder set. So this is from Stampin' Up, 20 adorable pieces, just a really cutesy, Christmassy type set. And we are using it to make 8 different cards. So my card club members have received a packet in the mail, and this is the video that's going to walk them through how to make all of their cards. And if you're not a member of my card club, you are welcome to check it out and see all the projects and everything. You can even copy them and use the designs. I hope you'll think it's so exciting that you'll want to check out my card club. I'm taking new members all the time, and the link to join my club is right in the description. So click that to get more info. This video is from October 2024. Let's get started. So once again, the stamp set is Snowy Wonder. This is from the current holiday mini catalog from Stampin' Up. This is the set that I use to make all the cards. But if you are at home and you don't have this set, feel free to pull out any set that might have similar images or anything you're wanting to use. I love it when you pull stamp sets off your shelf and get creative with them. My card club is designed for that. If you do that, make sure and share your projects with me. I always love to see how it turns out with other stamps or a combination of stamp sets or whatever you decide to use. If you are using this one, pull it out and mount it on blocks. We are using almost every piece from the set today. Here are the ink pads that I am using to finish up my cards. Pecan Pie, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, and the Memento Black ink. You're welcome to grab any similar brown, green, blue, black pads that you have and use those ones. I'm also using a peach colored marker. This is the Peach Pie marker, so you'll want to pull out something like that. Plus, you always need your basics on hand. I'll be using my Stampin' Trimmer, of course, some scissors. My favorite adhesives are mini glue dots, Seal Plus. I like to use Stampin' Dimensionals, both the mini and the regular ones. And today I'll be using some liquid glue on the projects too. I also like to grab my Take Your Pick tool. If you like to use this for your gems, pull that out because we'll be using that today. And here is the packet that my card club members have received. So right in the back, there's always this ID sheet that kind of tells you which month it was from and what stamp set that we used with it, just in case you pull it out later and you don't do it exactly when it comes. You'll be able to easily identify. And every single month, I always include some product. So this month, it's the frayed white ribbon. It's these Pecan Pie and clear ribboned gems. And it's a quarter pack of the iconic Celebrations Designer Series paper. So altogether, these items are approximately $20 in product that you have received with your card club. Plus, you'll get all of the packets to be able to make all 8 cards. We've got 2 of each design, and as you can see, a lot of care has gone into die cutting and pre-embossing and sorting and prepping these kits, so they are absolutely ready to go for you to put together 8 amazing cards. My card club members paid $34 for this set of stuff, and so I hope you guys feel like that's a great value. And you're going to be using these items on the cards as well, so keep those out. And this paper just kind of tells you what I already said, the products to pull out that you'll want to have, ink pad colors and such. One of the first things you'll want to do is to cut some of your iconic Celebrations paper into little pieces for the different cards. So you can pause the video here to get a good idea, or you can look at the PDF that I sent you as well. You always get both options when you do my card club. So card number 1 uses all 3 of these little pieces of designer paper. So we've got the sizes right here. And you will want 2 of everything because you're making 2 of each card. Card number 2 just has this plaid piece right here. So I want to cut that, a couple of those. Card number 3 just has a couple of squares, 2 by 2 squares of the candy cane and the Christmas tree papers. And card number 4 has this little strip. It's 5.5 by 1, and it's just got the little pecan pie stars. Remember, cut 2 of everything. Okay, here is the first kit, and I am actually going to sort this and just pull out 1 of everything instead of 2, because you don't need to watch me make 2 cards, even though that's what you are doing. So let's put these aside. And here are all of the pieces that you're going to need to do card number 1. So here are the designer papers that I've cut. And when you cut this little strip, make sure and kind of fussy cut it. This is 3/4 of an inch wide, but you want to get a row of trees specifically on there to get the look of the card. Okay, let's start by doing some stamping. We are going to just take this adorable little cabin stamp. Doesn't this just look like an awesome place to go in the winter? Just gonna kind of closer to the left with the hole on the left side, just kind of pop your cabin right on there. Let's add our greeting. It says, "Let it snow." And I want that kind of right up here next to the cabin roof, maybe about halfway down, and not all the way to the edge, of course. Just about like that. Put the misty moonlight aside for a moment. We're going to use Mossy Meadow. There are several different trees in the stamp set. This is the smaller pine tree, but it's also kind of an outliney style. I'm going to just throw a couple on here. And notice I've stamped that a couple times without re-inking. Okay, so I got 3 little trees here. And while I've got this in my hand, I'm going to grab the little white piece that's for the inside of the card and my envelope. I tend to stamp these 2 pieces the same. If I'm doing a piece on the inside, I stamp it exactly like my envelope. And I pretty much always stamp my envelopes. I just think it adds something fun and gives a little teaser to the cute card that's on the inside. Just 2 trees without re-inking, and then a 3rd one. Okay, I'm putting the Mossy Meadow ink pad away and back to the Misty Moonlight. Now, there are 4 different snow stamps in this set, if you count the little dots of snow. This is almost the smallest one. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 for sizes, this is the 3rd size down. And we'll just throw a few snowflakes here. You can do some without re-inking if you'd like to. Okay, so that finishes up these 2 pieces. Got that one ready for the inside and that one for the envelope. Let's add some snowflakes here as well. These ones I'm going to do all at full strength. Just a couple there and one over here. Okay, I am going to cut about 8 inches of this ribbon. Looks like I've got some ink on it. Let's cut that off. Okay. 8 inches is more than I'm going to need, but I just want it to have enough to work with, and then I'll trim it down after. I'm folding this ribbon in half, and then I'm taking the folded part and I'm threading it through the front of the tag. So this is my decorated part of the tag. It's the folded part of the ribbon, and I'm just tucking it through. And just kind of put one corner in and then pick that up on the back side and pull it through. So now I've got this hole here, and I can thread the tails into it. This is called a lark's head knot. At least that's what my husband, the Boy Scout, tells me. And now I'm going to need to work these tails through. Normally you can just pull these tails and it will like slide through. This ribbon is too textured, it will definitely catch, and so you don't want to actually rip through the hole in your tag. So we're just pulling, making that loop smaller, pulling the slack out through the tails until we've got it tight enough that you see that straight part over the top here in the front. And then you can just cut these. We won't want them terribly long because this will be close to the edge of the card. You could wait until you get these on the card to trim them too. I'm sorry, this might be a little bit more of a noisy video. I don't know how much of the noise will transfer, but my neighbors across the street are getting a new roof and we are getting a new deck. So there are all kinds of workers driving in and out and clanking all their stuff around. So forgive me for that. And let's go ahead and put this card together. I've got a Misty Moonlight card base. So let's pop this open and put this piece on the inside. I just like to use a line of Seal Plus on both edges. I always use Seal Plus to do paper to paper. It always sticks, it's reliable, and it doesn't do the weird stretchy thing. I like how I can just stop rolling and it stops too. If you ever have trouble with Seal Plus, here are my tips. So always lay it down and roll it straight. We're not ever gonna try to like go around a corner, around a edge. We're not going to turn it a weird direction and roll it, because what that does is tilt it, and we always want a full connection side to side. So just lay it down flush and roll it towards you. When you're ready to be done, just stop, and the little lines of adhesive will stop rolling. And if it ever won't start, I usually just try it a couple times, or you can just forward it down here. Make sure you've got sticky on the bottom. And if you know those little tricks, Seal Plus can be your best friend for your whole life. Okay, so I'm sticking this Misty Moonlight snowflake paper just kind of with an edge around the sides over off to the left edge here. And then this tree paper is going to go all the way across. I want the little edge of the Misty Moonlight snowflake paper to show below my tree paper. So lay it down right about here. And then this one will just go right above it. This should still be the right width for your Seal or Seal Plus to do the gluing. And I just overlapped it onto the trees and kind of centered it right about here. Now this tag will get some regular dimensionals. Let's put a couple up by the ribbon, one in the middle. Stick it just right about here. We want the little stripy paper to still show below it. Get these looking cute. And then let's pull in our little ribboned gems. I'm using the clear ones. Take the cap off, of course. Just kind of push that off to the side and you'll find that it has kind of stuck into the putty. The Take Your Pick tool is a real lifesaver for these particular gems. So I actually always use it for all gems, but this one, it's especially helpful. And there is card number 1. Okay, here are all of the pieces for card number 2. And we are going to start with a little bit of stamping. Find your square piece. This is kind of a big 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square. And we're going to stamp with the Memento ink. Let's start with the penguin. And actually there is a die to cut this out. So if you have it at home, you could always cut yours out with the die. I did mine with the scissors, so I just trimmed it. And we also want the word happy, and I just kind of stamped that pretty much on the edge here. Something like that. It comes right off the stamp that says Happy New Year. So you'll just kind of hang it off the edge, or if you stamp it here, it's okay. You're just gonna kind of try to trim around it. So we'll set this aside to dry for a minute and we'll come back to it. There are 3 different pieces that are going to get some cute little mountains. So let's pull our pecan pie ink pad in, and there are 2 stamps, kind of a bigger and a smaller mountain. So this is my fold on the left, and this is the actual card base. I'm going to go about halfway up, maybe a little less than halfway, somewhere like there, and just put 1 small mountain on that side. And similar height, maybe I'll go a little higher. This one here, and then one a little lower. Now let's do the larger mountain next to those ones. Okay, so that'll do for my card front. You're not going to stamp them all the way across because you're covering the middle. It has the look of going all the way across, but it doesn't. And then on the envelope, let's just do big guy. Remember, I always make the inside match the envelope. Do a little mountain next to it. Okay, looks like a nice cold place for a penguin to live. Let's come back to our card base. We can glue a couple of these pieces on. This red piece, I'll just do a couple rows of Seal Plus right there. And we'll glue it right around here, kind of close to the edge, but not all the way. That way that mountain can peek out. Okay, let's roll here. And we will add this plaid paper on top of the red. It bumps all the way to the left edge. I've got a little edge showing at the bottom here and the rest of the red all around there. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but something along those lines there. And we can go ahead and glue this one on the inside while we're sticking stuff. Should go right there. Okay, let's hop in here now and start doing some cutting. I'm just going to cut out around this penguin. Not a giant deal, just kind of a loose cut. It'll be white out around the edge. So imagine he's on sort of a white little cloud. And he's got fins and feet, and so those will just be a couple bumps. Other than that, it's pretty much a basic oval. Okay, and now I've got my tiny little happy here. And I'm going to cut all the way along this edge and give it a whole strip. And then just kind of take a look at it and decide how wide you want it. I'm going to give it maybe somewhere around a ½ inch on each side. Okay, so I've got these little pieces. And then let's grab the peach pie marker. This is when we're gonna make the magic happen with this cute little penguin. So he has his little orange feet and beak. All right, this card is going to have a strip of ribbon that goes kind of across right down here at the base of the mountains. So for now, I'll cut it a little longer than the card. So I've probably got it somewhere around like 6 inches. And I'm going to roll some Seal Plus right along here where I want the ribbon to lay. And then just lay the ribbon onto it. It won't work very well if you try to roll the Seal Plus onto the ribbon. It doesn't stick very well, but it'll stick really well if you do it this way. And then you can come in after and give it cute little slanted edges that stay on the card base. So this is mailable. Okay, let's give the penguin a couple of dimensionals just on the back. And he'll come right up here. I'm letting his feet overlap the ribbon just a little bit, but his head should break the plane of the plaid paper and extend up onto the red. That really makes him pop as the main element of the card. And then I want the word Christmas to come right along here. It's going to stick on the ribbon, mostly next to the penguin's little foot here. So in order to get the Christmas to stick to the ribbon, I did some liquid glue and I just used some dots. I'm gonna do some kind of, I'm not gonna use the word generous because this stuff comes out so fast. Just, you know, small dots along here, but they don't need to be absolutely minuscule dots like maybe you're used to doing sometimes. So I got some, and I avoided kind of the top because the top isn't going to glue down as much. It's mostly the bottom of the letters that'll glue. And I'll get this in place where I want it. Right about here should be good. This is nice because the liquid glue is a little bit forgiving, but let's not get it everywhere. And then I like to lay just like an ink pad or something on it to kind of hold it down for a minute and get it into place so that it can start to dry, and we make sure it dries down stuck. So place that over it for a few minutes maybe, and let's get our happy ready to go. I'm going to use some of my rolled up mini glue dots. I love to do this when I want a little bit of texture, like I want this to pop up but not a lot. So I'm using a rolled up mini glue dot on one end. Got that ready and waiting. Rolled up mini glue dot again. Put it on the other end. It's not going to pop it up as much as a mini dimensional would, but close. It's almost giving it the height of like what a mini dimensional would have. And then I'm going to tuck this happy right in here. Can maybe use my piercing tool to help me get it right where I want it. So you don't want it hidden, but we do want it to be kind of integrated with the Christmas there. So it says Happy Christmas. I thought that was a fun greeting to use. This one didn't have a Merry Christmas in it. And so, but it did have Happy New Year. So this was a way to get an altered little version of a Christmas greeting. And this cursive Christmas die cut is from the Peaceful Season die cut set. Now let's get some gems on here. I used the brown ones for this. I put them kind of right on the mountains here in the background. I thought I kind of already had a lot going on with the sparkle and the layers and the Christmas penguin, but I really liked the gems in the background on the mountain tops for this one. And that is card number 2. Okay, here are the pieces for card number 3. And on this one, we're going to use the Mossy Meadow ink pad first. We're going to take this little label right here, which is cut from the Unbounded Love labels. There's this darling die set, Unbounded Love dies, and they have a lot of these different cute labels and things. They have been useful with all different stamp sets, so check those out. We're going to get the Season's Greetings nice and inky, and when you stamp it off to the left side. And that way we're leaving space for our little tree that's going to be over here. Here's the tree die cut. And this is a tiny bit tricky to get stamped right on the die. So what you're going to do is ink up the more filled in small pine tree. This is different than the other one we used. Line it up with the trunk and with the top of the tree. Look down through the photopolymer and press it down. And if you feel like you got it crooked or there are any like little extra edges, you can come in with your paper snips after and trim off any of the extra light green. I feel like this is passable. It's really good. So I debated about this. It was kind of hard to just trim it out by hand, so I figured giving you the die cut would be the easier way. And then let's grab our envelope. And on here, we're going to stamp the bigger pine tree. This bigger pine tree didn't get used on any of the cards, so I thought, oh, I'll stick it on the envelope here. That'll be a good way to at least get a chance to use that stamp. Okay, so here's the card base for this one. It's folded at the top. This is a thick, basic white card base. And I'm going to start with my little pine tree piece, and I'm going to use some Seal Plus for this one. And I'm sticking it, I'm giving it about a 1/8 inch border here. Right about like that. And then above that, we'll place this red plaid piece. And I'm going to use mini glue dots to attach this. Since it's got so much texture, I have textured this up with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. So you can use seal on this, but I just prefer mini glue dots because it kind of like sinks down into the spaces and holds it better. So we'll just use the edge of the card and your pine tree piece as a guide for where that'll go. And then upper right, we're going to do our little candy canes. dot there, and then we'll use the glue dots again for this last mossy meadow plaid piece. Okay, so we'll place that one in the last spot here. And if you ever see like lifting spots, I think this happens a lot with embossed pieces. I'll just get a glue dot like on the point of my piercing tool or on the edge of my paper snips and just kind of slide it right in that pocket and trap the mini glue dot in there, and that'll hold that down so it doesn't pucker. Okay, so here's our little card base. And this one is going to have some ribbon that kind of crisscrosses. So start with a nice angular cut, and we're going to just place this and just go ahead and cut it right about the length for the front of your card. We want 2 of those. This should be right around 4 inches. This is 4 1/4 wide, so 4 1/4-ish. And we can just lay a little bit of Seal Plus here for these to stick to. I'm just going to let one of them kind of crease and let the other one cross. So it's not real dramatic, they overlap a lot. This is just kind of temporarily holding them in place. Get some mini glue dots underneath here too. I like to place these after, once I already have the ribbon exactly where I want it. And then I'm not like fussing with something that's really sticky and it's not accidentally sticking where I don't want it. Now when I stick this label down, I'm going to use my mini dimensionals and I'm going to scoot them all the way to the top edge. So as close as I can get to that top edge without going off. And same thing on the bottom, because when I actually place this on, I don't want my dimensionals to try to stick down onto ribbon. I want them to straddle the ribbon and stick to the paper that's above and below. So that's just a little assembly tip. Should go right about here. And then this little tree is going to glue right to the corner here on the season's greetings. I don't want to pop it up any more than the label already was, so I'll put a mini glue dot at the top of the tree, and then I'm going to use a mini dimensional at the bottom of the tree because the bottom's going to hang off and stick more onto this green part. Now when I glue this down, I'm putting it here and sliding it up till I feel the mini dimensional hit, and that's as high up as I'll put it, just like that. Now to finish this off, I'm going to use 5 of the little pecan pie gems. So I'll put a couple here, a larger and a smaller. And then down here, kind of below my tree, 1 large and maybe a couple small, one up higher and one kind of down closer to that one. And that is card number 3. Okay, we are already ready for card number 4, you guys. This one's going to be so cute. We will start with our Memento Black ink pad and the snowman stamp. So get this all nice and inky, and it's going to stamp onto this large white die cut. This one, you have a tendency to want to center your snowman, but instead look at the bottom edge of the snowman and bring it all the way down because you want room for his hat up above his head there. Okay, so it should look something like this. Now let's grab our Happy New Year stamp, and that'll go right on this little die cut. And I have got the piece from the inside of the card right here, and I have my envelope right here, and we're going to do some stamping on both of those as well. This is the snowman hat, and I'm going to put it right down here on the envelope, maybe tilt it a little, almost as though it blew away. And we'll do the same thing on the corner down here. Okay, that is all the black stamping. Let's now grab our Misty Moonlight, and we're going to use a few different snowflake pieces. So let's start over here on this blue circle, and we'll want about 3 or 4 on here. Okay, something like this. And let's toss a single large snowflake onto the envelope and on the piece for the inside. Okay, we're grabbing kind of this medium snowflake now, and I'll use it, I'm using it 2 times on the envelope without re-inking. It's kind of a darker and lighter one, same thing here. And now we'll jump to the smallest of the small. This one just looks like little dots, so you can pepper those in wherever around these images. This can be stamped without re-inking if you want to. Okay, so we've got the inside done, the envelope done. Let's jump back over to this guy. I only used the biggest one and then the smattering here. I didn't use that medium size snowflake on mine. Okay, let's do a little bit of gluing. We kind of have a lot of pieces hanging out here. So of course we know this one is the piece to go on the inside of our card. So let's grab that. Ooh, I almost did that backwards. Fold should be on the left, of course, traditionally speaking. And place it just like that. Now on the front of the card, that's where my little designer paper is going to go. Just right by the fold, all the way over to the edge. Just like that. This little glimmer paper strip is going to go right next to it here, and you can leave a little gap here even if you want to. And what I did is use some mini glue dots to attach this. So I'm going to put one close to the end, but not on the end, because this is actually cut at 6 inches and you're only going to need 5.5 to go along your card. So you'll be trimming this off after you get it into place. Okay, so really close to the designer paper, but not all the way. Just stick that down. And then I open the card so that I'm looking at those little tabs from the back. It should be pretty easy to come right flush with your card and paper snips and just nip those extra ends off. Okay, do a little Seal Plus on the back of your blue circle. And that one will go right down here on the front of the card. It's going to go pretty close to the edge here, both the bottom and the left edge. And the next thing we want to do is a little bit of ribbon. So I'll cut about 6 inches again, similar to the other card. And I'm going to roll my Seal Plus right next to the glimmer paper, but not over it, because it doesn't always want to stick to glimmer paper. And then I'll lay my ribbon on it instead of trying to roll adhesive onto the ribbon. That doesn't work very well. Just like this, and we get this really cute snowy effect because of the fringed edges on that ribbon. And I'll use a similar trick where I just open the card and cut that off flush with the edges. Let's take a look at our snowman here. We're going to grab our peach pie marker just to do this tiny detail, but it's pretty important. So cute to give him that little nose, and it actually matches the glimmer paper too, so that kind of ties in really nice. And we will attach this hat. You have 2 little die cut hats that I included for you that you will be using to put on the actual card. So I'm going to use 2 mini dimensionals on there. Just place it right there on his cute little head. And then you are ready to attach this to the card. I pretty much made the snowman upright. I'm going to put 1 dimensional way out here on the edge and do the rest over here so that I'm not trying to glue dimensionals onto these things that are already layered up. That will make it pop up in a way that I don't want it to. So let's put one over here. And so that ribbon and glimmer paper can go right in this space that does not have dimensionals. And I wanted to come down and overlap this blue one quite a bit. It's almost going to cover up one of the snowflakes there. And the last one is the Happy New Year. I'm using dimensionals for it too, but not in the spot where it will overlap the snowman. So put a couple there, and then you can add a mini glue dot to this side. That's where it'll stick to the snowman piece. And we'll just stick this on. We don't want it to actually overlap his cute little stick arm. On this card, I used one of the little clear ribboned gems, kind of here, one of the large ones. And then we'll do a couple of smaller guys. And that is card number 4. Now I think it's time to bring all the cards in and see all of what we made today. Okay, here they are. What a fun set of 4 cards. I hope you guys enjoyed these today. I hope you'll love making them. And if you aren't in my card club, feel free to give your hand a try at copying these designs. And I hope you'll also give my card club a try. Just check it out in the link in my description, and you can hop in anytime. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will catch you next time. Bye.